How one Rosedale apartment building became a hotbed for tenant tension and racism accusations, finger-pointing, confrontations, and calls to police abound at 1 Rosedale Road. Accusations of racism and theft, and multiple calls to police. That's life at an apartment building in one of Toronto's most prestigious neighborhoods, according to a mediator's investigation report on the state of affairs at 1 Rosedale Road. Nestled among stately homes and lush greenery, the 4-floor, 24-unit building has been the backdrop to ongoing tension between tenants for years, amid reports of neighbors peering into windows, filming each other, and confronting each other in the hallways. But the source of the conflict depends on who you ask. Dot and Paul Peng, who moved into the building in the fall of 2010, say they're the targets of racism as the only non-white tenants in a building filled with university professors and government employees. After the couple put up signs in the communal laundry room reminding people of their scheduled laundry time, they claim the signs were torn down, then later defaced with the hand-scrawled message, "Crazy Chinese. We're dealing with this kind of living environment where everyone is aiming hate at you," said Peng in an emotional interview with CBC Toronto. She shared various documents, including a timeline of events, copies of emails from other tenants, and a redacted copy of the mediator investigation with the addition of her own notes, to back up her assertions that nearly everyone in the building is involved in targeting the Pengs. "You aren't fitting in." Some of these forms of targeting, she alleged, include a tenant knocking on the Pengs' door in 2012 yelling, "You aren't fitting in," and that same tenant complaining about the terrible cooking smell of their Chinese soup a year later. In another alleged instance in 2014, the Pengs say their cleaning lady found an upturned tack in their doorway, which they believe was meant to hurt their beloved dog Ginger. Ginger has since passed away. The couple's lawyer, Caryma said the issues have escalated over time and have now led to an eviction notice against the Pengs. The basis of the complaint seems to be that my clients speak Chinese in common areas of the building, she said. The N5 notice given to the Pengs by landlord 1 Rosedale Inc. states it's for behavior that interferes with other tenants' reasonable enjoyment of the residential complex, and/or lawful rights, privileges, or interests. And on Tuesday, the Pengs are fighting it through a hearing with the landlord and tenant board, which will bring them face to face with other tenants. CBC Toronto attempted to contact several other tenants in the building. Only one responded. The tenant the Pengs say complained about their soup, and said they are familiar with the claims made against them by the Pengs and would not be commenting until after the eviction hearing, where they will be testifying. CBC Toronto also contacted landlord Les Steiner, who owns 1 Rosedale Road Inc., and has owned the 1 Rosedale Road building for the last 15 years. He painted a different picture of the goings-on within the building, based on what other tenants have told him. "It's really between 23 people and the 24th, he said. We can't evict 24 tenants." Steiner said he has received complaints from residents about being harassed, and said he has security footage of Peng stalking other tenants with her camera repeatedly. "We've done every possible thing we could," he said. "I've been in this business 40 years and I've never seen anything like this." Investigation found no evidence of racism. In 2016, Steiner said he paid $45,000 for the third-party mediation investigation in hopes of resolving the ongoing issues. That investigation, from Ottawa-based lawyer and mediator David Bennett, took place in May 2016 and involved interviews with the property managers, the Pengs, and 21 other tenants. It led to Bennett's 52-page report, which highlighted the Pengs' complaints about certain tenants stalking and harassing them, swearing at them, and accusations from the Pengs against another tenant who they claim was stealing produce from planters in the communal backyard that's right behind the Pengs' ground floor unit. In several instances, Bennett's report notes that the Pengs called the police about other tenants. It also documents what other tenants felt was aggressive behavior from the Pengs, and a petition circulated within the building that was intended for a community relations officer with the Toronto Police. The officer, it reads, had been attempting to arrange a meeting that would include the Pengs, to enable a reasonable discussion to take place concerning various complaints and disagreements. "We have either had our own difficulties, or know of difficulties our neighbors have had, with Mr. and Mrs. Peng," it reads. At the time, the Pengs believed there was a second petition circulating that asked for the couple to be evicted, Bennett writes, but he found absolutely no evidence of this. Bennett also documented an instance where human rights posters were put up by the building's management and later torn down and defaced by residents, which may have been done because some tenants felt they were heavy-handed or posted in response to unfounded complaints. Based on the investigation, Bennett found other tenants did not violate the Pengs' human rights aside from tearing down the human rights postings at 1 Rosedale Road. As for allegations of racism, THE report said there was no evidence of racial discrimination in the building, stressed Steiner. Bennett concluded the Pengs have not been victims of racial discrimination and harassment, but that the negative interactions between them and other tenants were based on misunderstandings. Peng doesn't see it that way, and hopes to fight against the eviction notice on Tuesday, saying it's definitely racially motivated. "We're the only non-white people in this building," she said. "What else is it?"